If you ask me, is our relationship normal today? My answer to you is no, it is not.
China is clearly becoming a much stronger military power.
India has also stepped up its participation in the Quad.
The Chinese military has been through a really big reform process. Since sort of the 1980s, it's been trying to make itself more modern and more capable to address the norms of warfare that it observes as it looks out towards the world.
Let me tell you something. The United States of America is the most powerful nation on earth.
Have you ever thought if US, India, China, UK, Pakistan were to actually have a battle, who will win amongst the big boys? Hi, if you're new to my channel, then on my channel I talk about a lot of interesting governance related videos, MBA, career and management consulting. So feel free to hit on the subscribe button so that you get notified whenever I'm on a chai break from really cool locations and vacations of mine, and you get notified. So with that, let's get started. It's a very interesting video. I actually did a lot of homework for all of you. Why? Because we have computed, analyzed, and we have a final answer on a power index. If US, UK, Pakistan, Russia, India were to compete together, which one will be first, which one will be second, and which one will be last. So watch till the end if you want to know the final answer, and this kind of analysis will come in really handy if you want to make a career in policy consulting, management consulting, and even for your UPSC exam. Why? Because I have picked up 17 parameters across 3 areas to find the final answer. In fact, we will put up a source of all the data in the description box. So let's get started. First and foremost, I picked up these 6 countries. All of them are nuclear proliferated. That means all of them have nuclear weapons. That means that on a power index, they are pretty strong. China shares border with India. Pakistan shares border with India. We have always considered them as enemy states. Of course, there is Russia and US and UK as well. UK is going through its own tumultuous economic crisis. We made a separate podcast detailing out the exact problem with economics of UK. So feel free to check that out. Shall you be interested? So like I said, I have actually divided the entire analysis into 3 parts. What are those 3 parts? Let me help you understand the 3 structure. Then I'll do, and you will get to know ranking. What are the top countries and the bottom countries across each and every 17 parameters. And towards the end, you will also get to know the final answer, which wins, which country wins amongst the battle of big boys. The first section is economic parameters. A lot of them is about Gini coefficient, GDP per capita, GDP growth, macroeconomic parameters such as GDP in $1 million as well. Then there is a second parameter. If countries were to go at war, what kind of military spend in absolute numbers do they have? So that's the second military power. In fact, if I were to take a step back, when I was at Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy, I took a special course of power in world dynamics, and I realized that power is of multiple format. There is economic power, there is military power, there is social power as well. And that is the third component. What kind of livability, happiness index, what kind of education, what kind of healthcare really exists if someone to actually visualize their life in that particular country. And with that, let's get started. So I am going to be peeping into my notes time and again. On Human Development Index, the top country that stands out is UK, and then followed by United States. The bottom country on Human Development Index, it's an index that qualifies for the longevity, the quality of life as well. The bottom country is Pakistan, and the second last country compared to the other 5 is India. So India is pretty down. When you talk of GDP per capita, PPP adjusted, the top country is United States, followed by United Kingdom. The bottom country is Pakistan, and the second from the bottom is India. So GDP per capita is not a good index for India. It is good index for UK and US. When you look at GDP in million, a very important parameter to find eventual power, the top country is US and the second country from top is China. The bottom country this time is Pakistan, followed by Russia. So GDP in absolute terms in $1 million, the top country are US and China, hence of course a lot of rivalry. The bottom countries are Pakistan and Russia. India is in between along with UK. When you talk of Gini coefficient, it's an index of explaining income inequality in a society. Very interestingly, Pakistan is on top when it comes to Gini coefficient, followed by UK. These are top countries with equal societies. On the contrary, when it comes to income unequal countries based on Gini coefficient, you see US and China in the bottom stage. Let's talk of GDP growth in the future. The top countries are India, followed by China. These are countries which are actually having promising GDP growth in the future. The bottom countries are actually Russia and US. That's why they could be struggled, they could be actually witnessing a lot of stress, that they do not foresee GDP growth for them in the future. On economics, once again we talk of ease of doing business. How easy is it to start a business for investor? The top country is US, the second country from top is UK, the bottom country is Pakistan, followed by India on ease of doing comparative ranking. The second last metric on economics is unemployment rate, a percentage of labor force. The top country which is doing really good is UK, followed by China. These countries have the least unemployment index. The bottom countries are actually US and India, which are not doing good on unemployment rate as a percentage of labor force. The last index for economic analysis is government debt as percentage of GDP. The best performing country from the top is India, followed by actually interestingly Pakistan. Please note we couldn't find the data for China on World Bank report. The bottom quartile countries are actually US, followed by UK in terms of percentage public debt, government debt as percentage of GDP. So that's the final analysis. Those are the figures, those are the coefficients we were looking for economic analysis. But that's just not it when you have to evaluate countries on power index. The second index and the second section is military spend in absolute number. The top country in terms of military spend, as unsurprising as it can be, is US, followed by China. The bottom country in terms of $1 billion spend in absolute number is Pakistan, followed by UK. You might question, Shatakshi, why are we not looking as military spend as percentage of GDP? Think of what is happening in Russia and Ukraine. If you were to compute both of their power index, eventually the war is going to be largely, there is a high probability, won by a country which has higher military spend in terms of absolute number, not just percentage GDP. Hence, absolute numbers become important when you have to compare countries, not just in terms of fairness, which country is giving more military spend. Many a times, a lot of liberal arts students do not take this metric seriously. In fact, there are dharnas, there are protests on the road. Why is the country spending so much money on military spend? When you as country are surrounded by Pakistan on one side and China on other side, a foolish person will only not spend money on military side. You have to be militarily strong. Of course, you have to spend money on education and healthcare as well, but it is an important index to be powerful on a global level. With that, we move towards the third section through which we are going to be doing a comparative analysis. The first one is infrastructure. Now, infrastructure could be many. It could be road, it could be railways, it could also be actually internet penetration. As a proxy data point, I have taken the rail spread in terms of kilometer. The top country on this index is US, and the second country from top is Russia in terms of railway infrastructure. The bottom country is Pakistan, followed by United Kingdom. When you talk of democracy index, how freedom of media or freedom of speech is taking place, how fair the elections are taking place, how easy and fair it is to vote for everyone, then the top country on democracy index is UK, followed by United States of America. The bottom country is China, followed by Russia, needless to say, because of communist regimes. Then we talk about the corruption index. The top country on corruption index is UK, which is not doing badly on corruption, that means it's doing good. Then the second country from the top is United States. The bottom country on corruption index is actually Pakistan, followed by Russia. These are the poor performing countries on corruption index. If you start moving towards the end of the analysis, government expenditure on education, The top country is India, followed by Russia. So India is doing pretty good when it comes to government expenditure on education. The bottom countries are interestingly China, followed by Pakistan. World Happiness Index, Bhutan for a very long period of time was happy country. So you cannot consider a world powerful on just military, education or economic spend. You have to look at how happy the people are. The top country on happiness index is United States because of the quality of living perhaps, and the second country from top is United Kingdom. The bottom country is India, and the second country from bottom is Pakistan. Seems like we as Indians are really stressed about perhaps our careers and maybe financial living as well. It could be a lot could be contributed because of Gini index, income inequality also. And that's why a lot of interlinkages of course happen between a lot of these parameters. If you move to female labor force as percentage of labor force participation, then the top country is interestingly Russia, followed by United Kingdom. The bottom country, needless to say, are Pakistan and India. It is an established fact that the percentage female labor force as percentage of entire employability is poor for India. In fact, my team at GGI Fellowship did an analysis and they figured out the percentage labor force that was participating earlier in agriculture, they got upskilled, they did not get a job, they moved out of the agriculture labor force and they did not even move to either the service labor force or the industrial labor force. So overall on gender equality or gender representation in employability, India is not doing overall well. The second last index on environment, climate impact is also a very important parameter, CO2 emission per capita. The top country is interestingly Pakistan, could be because of lack of infrastructure activities, and the second country is actually India, could be because of the larger population that we also have. The bottom country is US, followed by Russia in terms of CO2 emission per capita. So drum roll, we move towards the last parameter, which is world peace countries. This is the kind of metric which will tell you about instability or terrorist activities. You cannot compute world power index without actually evaluating overall world peace countries as well. The top country is United States, followed by United Kingdom. The bottom country is actually Russia, followed by Pakistan. So those are the 7 metrics. These are important metrics if you're actually analyzing a public policy problem in interviews or in a job, or many a times you could be a management consultant evaluating such problems, and many a times you could be a UPSC aspirant writing such answers. Please do not just look at things qualitatively. There are subjective and objective parameters. You can actually rank order them. We actually put in a lot of interesting weightages across economics, across military and across social spend. You can of course debate what kind of other parameters we could have looked at, but in the interest of time of this video, we thought of 17 parameters, and drum roll, what is the final answer? After analyzing all of these parameters, after putting in weightages, after putting in data, the top country is United States and the second country from the top is actually China. Seem like the world is moving towards a bipolar state. It is not going to be a US world anymore. The bottom country is actually Pakistan and the second bottom is Russia. India is standing at position number 4th. And that's why many times when we say that the economy of our country has surpassed UK, it is not just economics which can justify what kind of power order are we moving towards in the near future, but India is very much in the league. That's my chai break with all of you. I hope that you enjoyed this comparative detailed analysis that allowed us to redefine the world order and where the power dynamics are heading in this world. If you like this video, feel free to share it with your friends so that they can learn from the enriching analysis that I actually did for all of you especially. That's my chai break with all of you. I'll see you very much soon. Ciao.